On December 31st, 2001, I was there.
Some cherished memories of my sports viewing life was the madness near the end of the calendar year. College football bowl season. Whether it's a small bowl game with two teams many don't care about, or a bowl game that decides who wins the championship. There was nothing that would cure my post-Christmas blues like a bowl game, or 10. In the 2019 season, 41 bowl games were played. 3 of them were the semifinals and the final of the college football playoff bracket. For this episode, let me take you back to the turn of the millennium to the year 2000. There was some terrible set of mathematical formulas and data to decide who would play in the national championship. It was known as the Bowl Championship Series. In the 2000 bowl season, 25 bowl games were played. 2 new ones were introduced to the schedule that year. The GalleryFurniture.com Bowl, which was played at the old Astrodome in Houston, and the Silicon Valley Football Classic that was played at a familiar site. In fact, I was at the venue 4 months earlier to watch the San Jose Earthquakes drop another game. Spartan Stadium, or Sefco Stadium, or however the initials of Citizens Equity First Credit Union is pronounced. Whatever. In the first annual Silicon Valley Football Classic, the near-full house would watch a nail-biter as Air Force would hold off a comeback from Fresno State that went down to the wire after Jason Simpson's fake field goal pass fell incomplete towards the end of the game. The multi-platinum trio Destiny's Child was there to entertain the crowd at halftime. They even sang the song about the women that were independent. When I looked at the bowl game schedule for the 2001 season, I wanted to see which day of the week the second annual Bowl by the Bay would land on. My work would close up shop on New Year's Eve that Monday. Little did I know that the mom and pop eating spot I had worked at for 6 years would unexpectedly close, leaving me out in the cold. It was temporary as ownership changed hands, and I was only on a 2-month hiatus to begin the year 2002. That and nursing my once again broken heart. Even if I was taking a brief 2-month break from the workforce, I bought my ticket before my life dramatically changed. I would be going to my first college bowl game, and I would dress like it was my first time. Real nice. This game would feature a Big Ten school and a returning Western Athletic Conference school from the 2000 game. Michigan State had a decent season. In fact, they spent a week or two in the top 25. After a win over 23rd ranked Notre Dame a week after my birthday, they would take over the 23rd rank, which would last for a week after a loss to 16th ranked Northwestern. A win over 6th ranked Michigan would put them back in the top 25. Then the Spartans became a non-factor after losing 3 in a row. A 55-7 drubbing of Missouri would make Michigan State bowl eligible, and they would come out to California. A few of the notable players on Michigan State were quarterback Jeff Smoker, running back TJ Duckett, and wide receiver Charles Rogers. Smoker had a stellar college career despite his issues off the field. He would set season records for passing yards, pass attempts, and pass completions in his 2003 senior season. Also in 2003, Smoker set a single-game record passing the ball 55 times and completing 35 of those passes in a loss to Ohio State. Smoker wouldn't have much of a pro football career. He spent 3 seasons on NFL practice squads and played for the Nashville Cats and Arizona Rattlers for 2 seasons in the Arena Football League. TJ Duckett would be the receiver on a Jeff Smoker pass to upset Michigan during the 2001 season. Duckett was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the first round of the 2002 draft and would be part of the Falcons' offensive trio known as the DVD: Duckett, Michael Vick, and Warrick Dunn. Duckett played 7 seasons in the NFL with the Falcons, Redskins, Lions, and the Seahawks. Charles Rogers was an elite college receiver, a unanimous All-American in 2002, as well as winning the Fred Biletnikoff Award for the best receiver in the country. Rogers would be the second overall pick for the Detroit Lions in the 2003 NFL Draft. He would only play 3 seasons for the Lions as injuries would cut his career short. On November 11, 2019, as he was fighting liver cancer, Rogers died from liver failure at the age of 38. The Fresno State Bulldogs would be invited back to San Jose to try again after posting a solid 10-2 record. The Dogs began the season winning the first 6 games, which included a stunning win over 10th-ranked Oregon State, and the Bulldogs going to Camp Randall and stealing a win from Wisconsin. Back-to-back losses to Hawaii and Boise State would cost them the WAC Conference Championship. Fresno State would lay waste to their opponents in the last 5 games of the season that would make them a shoo-in for another bowl game. Once again, their traveling band from the San Joaquin Valley would make the trek back to the Silicon Valley to take over Spartan Stadium. Three standouts for FSU in this game were Bernard Berrien, Rodney Wright, and David Carr. Berrien would play 7 seasons in the NFL, all with teams in the NFC North. His first 4 years were with the Chicago Bears, and despite an injury in the 2006 season, the Spaniard would play in Super Bowl 41. His last 3 seasons were with the Vikings. While Rodney Wright was drafted in the 7th round of the 2002 NFL Draft, he would be better known as a prominent receiver in the Arena Football League. Wright played 8 seasons in the AFL, which included 2 stints with the San Jose SaberCats. A career highlight was when he caught 10 passes in a playoff game, which happened to be at Arena Bowl 21 in 2007. Wright's career would end in 2014 after the Pittsburgh Power folded. Last but not least, a quarterback that would be a solid college player, David Carr. Carr's senior season at Fresno State was his best. Not only did he win the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award for the best college quarterback in their 4th year, but he would also be a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. His draft stock was so high that the expansion Houston Texans would take a risk and draft him first overall in the 2002 draft. He would have a mediocre career in his 11 years in the NFL. Ryan Leaf was a draft bust and he didn't last that long. Carr's long but dubious career included a season with the 49ers and 2 tours of duty with the New York Giants. While Carr may go down as a draft bust, he's polishing his Super Bowl ring that he won simply by being Eli Manning's backup at Super Bowl 46. You can thank Kyle Williams for that. While I was hoping to sit in the sea of red from the San Joaquin Valley, I wouldn't be so lucky. My ticket may have been a nice sideline view, but I would be sitting with a bunch of Michigan State fans that needed to either use the can every 5 minutes or needed another drink every 5 minutes. You'll have to forgive the quality of the video you're about to see. I've had these clips since 2001, and I didn't start video capturing my tapes until 2016. On their first possession of the game and their first trip in the red zone, Fresno State got down to business early.
Flag. Fresno State just ripping downfield now. David Carr to the end zone. Touchdown! Steven Spock.
After a missed Fresno State field goal by Anson Asparuhov, it would only take one play for Michigan State to tie it up.
The booth, Eric Clemens on the sideline. Michigan State's 3rd possession. Ball for it. Plenty of time. Charles Rogers wide open. Rogers is gone.
Fresno State's next possession would be deep in their own zone. A 2nd and 15 on their own 6 would be a disastrous sequence of events.
Fast, and a lot of times when you're playing fast, you can turn the ball over.
Michigan State will score a touchdown. Monquiz Wedlow.
After the Spartans took the lead, the Bulldogs would bounce back. 1st and 10 on the Michigan State 36, Rodney Wright would show why he was one of the best receivers in the WAC.
Be the team that he goes to in the NFL.
David going deep, Rodney Wright open. Touchdown!
Near the end of a wild first quarter, Dave Rayner would try to give the Spartans the lead back.
One from over 30 yards all year long.
Hammers this one up.
That's almost a new year.
His longest of the year.
The game continued to be a shootout in the 2nd quarter. After the Spartans stopped the Bulldogs to open the quarter, they would add to the lead as T.J. Duckett would find the end zone.
Duckett. Touchdown!
Fresno State would answer back less than 5 minutes later as Carr would find Wright and Wright would find daylight again.
Touchdown Fresno State! 79 yards!
You know, that's really borderline taunting, hold that ball out like that.
Michigan State would reply on their next possession as Duckett continued to run all over the Bulldogs' defense.
They're over the ball. Look at those helmets. They're over the football.
No flag thrown. They give it to Duckett, and here he goes, and Duckett is gone!
Like I said, you turn and hand the ball off to T.J. Duckett. Good call, Tom.
After keeping Fresno State in their own territory, the Spartans would pad their lead late in the 2nd quarter with one play.
Back in the way they're playing right now, beating Georgetown yesterday, 98-91. I think the Bruins are the team to beat in that conference.
The dean of coaches, Lute Olson, always having a good team out in the desert.
Smoker to Rogers, they're doing it again! Rogers, what a game!
The PAT by Dave Rayner missed. After the first half, the two teams combined for 58 points going into the locker room. That was more points scored in the first half than in the first half of the 2001 GMAC Bowl. We all know how that one ended, right? But if that bowl game taught me something, it was never over. But the Bulldogs would have to get it in gear. Fresno State would try another comeback like they did the year before. Paris Gaines would start getting the Bulldogs fans' hopes up.
Two big tight ends. They're unconventional, Fresno State is.
They'll give it to Paris Gaines, trying to get outside, and he will score!
They went with an unbalanced...
The defense of both teams woke up in the third quarter. The Bulldogs snuffed out a duck-it run on 4th and 1 in the red zone. Then both quarterbacks Carr and Smoker kept the game close thanks to their faux pas.
EB over towards him, Arcade Davis. They have a double play action. They're going to go deep. It is Charles Smith. And it's intercepted. The second turnover forced by Michigan State's defense.
All these guys coming through.
Second down. Quick toss in it. Intercepted. Javon Banks. And had that been by Banks, Rogers would have been gone. What?
Fresno State down by 9 heading into the fourth quarter. They still had a shot, as Paruha for Fresno State would try to get the Bulldogs within a touchdown with a 29-yard field goal.
And he hits it and misses the field goal.
Well, shoot. Michigan State would try everything in their power in the fourth quarter to put the game out of reach, but the Bulldogs would show that they would not roll over and die. Enter Bryce McGill.
One must be a touchdown. They get the punt block. Bulldogs have it. Maurice Rodriguez near the 15-yard line.
The Dogs would take advantage of the prime field position as Gaines would find the end zone again to give Fresno State a fighting chance.
On the right side in this slot. Carr dumping it off. Paris Gaines to the 10, to the 5.
I like it. I like it. Well, that was a statement.
The Spartans would try again to finish off the Bulldogs, and with less than 2 minutes left in the game, they would get the cushion back as Smoker found Ivory McCoy for a short one. One more try for the Heisman finalist Carr and the Bulldogs. Fresno State would begin a march from their own 20 all the way to the Spartans' 23-yard line. Then Roderick Maples would end the dream.
In town and cheer their football team on. David Carr is intercepted. That will do it. Michigan State has it at the Fresno State 20-yard line. Roderick Maples with the interception, the second pick of David Carr in this game, and a 62-yard return to put this game in the deep freeze.
That would be the end of the high-scoring affair.
Rogers 270, a personal best, and Fresno State will fall to Michigan State, who goes to 7-5 this year with a 44-35 win over the Bulldogs of Fresno State.
Michigan State would win their second consecutive bowl game, with their last win happening on the first day of the 21st century in the Florida Citrus Bowl. Fresno State suffered their fourth straight defeat in a bowl game going back to the 1993 Aloha Bowl. 1 year later, the Bulldogs would finally get off the schneid, and would happen on another trip to San Jose. They would take down the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech in the 2002 Silicon Valley Football Classic. For the Spartans of Michigan State, they would experience a bowl game drought where they would lose 5 straight bowl games in a 10-year period.
It was my first ever college bowl game, but the title of this series of videos would tell you that it wouldn't be the last when I was there on New Year's Eve, 2001.